Marlins.
What's up, everybody? It's Monday. Ben and I are together. We have two people in one frame. We got the fantastic Chris Castellani here. 3 for 3. 3 for 3.
Yeah, you're good now. You're rolling with it now. Yeah.
I think I'm good now. And right now, Ben and I are at the lovely LaBerge in Lake Charles at the Barstool Sportsbook. And we're here for the Barstool Classic. And Ben, you want to kind of explain the Barstool Classic to everybody?
Well, first of all, thank you, Megan, for having me on Money Shots. Always great to see Chris Castellani, one of my favorite Barstool employees and one of the most knowledgeable baseball people. We're at the Barstool Classic, so it's the world's largest member guest is kind of how they book it. But, man, we got people here from Boise, Idaho, from Wisconsin, from Pittsburgh, from Philly. They've come from all over. But the LaBerge Lake Charles is such a beautiful property, a beautiful day on the golf course. I just ate some gator stuffed with boudin and a Cochon de Lake pig for lunch. We're at the gorgeous Barstool Sportsbook. It's just an awesome time here. And this is my first Classic, but it won't be my last. Thanks to Riggs for having me and a lot of our team. I actually sang the national anthem this morning, and my dumbass forgot to take off my cap when I sang the anthem. So I thought I did pretty – I was so worried about singing the second and third lyric because I kept doing them backwards that I forgot to take my cap off. But other than that, I thought it was a decent success.
What do you think was a bigger success, your national anthem or your halftime show?
My halftime show was much better. The halftime show, there were 600 people in the room, and the Super Bowl stream had like 3,000 or 4,000 people. I think I did a better job on the anthem, but people are going to remember the disco and the Shades, California Love far longer. But, when I come to LaBerge Lake Charles, I always got to have a couple tricks up my sleeve, right?
Absolutely. And speaking of tricks, let's give some picks because that's why we're here. It's Money Shots, the show where we take shots with our money, of course. Up first, we really have two games that are already playing, which are the O's and the Royals. O's are up 6-1, and Yankees Rangers, and that is still tied 0-0. I honestly kind of liked the Yankees in that one, but I know that the Rangers can smoke Nestor Cortez, so I kind of stayed away. I thought I was going to put him in my parlay, and then, from the cloud, someone said, maybe that game starts too early for you to put in a parlay. And I said, you know what, maybe it is. And thankfully, I've so far kept them out, and my parlay will continue to live, which is the first game of my parlay. Dodgers, Pirates, you have Urias, and you have Quintina. Is that right?
Quintana.
Yeah.
Quintana.
Freak and roll.
My
Lebowski reference on Quintana.
My dyslexia gets the best of me sometimes. Right now, I've just been rolling with the Dodgers, and obviously in my parlay, if y'all don't know, if you take my parlay, if it hits, obviously you get the money, and if you don't, every leg that hits, you get $10 back, but you have to put $25+ on it. So technically, you can make pretty much your whole bankroll back that you put, the whole $25 that you put out there. But I've just been rolling with the Dodgers. It's on the money line. All I need for this team to do is win, and the Dodgers have just been doing that, and it's hard to expect them to do anything less. I know that the money line is super juiced at -250, which is why I put them into my parlay. And I would take them on the run line too, but that's -148. You're going to continue to pay money for the Dodgers, so why not just take the parlay? Chris, I know that you and I have talked a lot about this Dodgers team. Do you think they just continue to roll tonight?
Yeah. This is one of the most talented baseball teams of the last decade, what the Dodgers have right now. And even beyond that, this is one of those games where if the Pirates find a way to win, it goes against every single statistic that I'm looking at here. Quintana's been solid. His pitch data is a little bit suspect, but I talked about this with Walker Buehler a few weeks ago. There's certain pitchers, and obviously having the Dodgers lineup, backing you helps. But the Dodgers are 29-8 in games where Julio Urias starts since the beginning of last season. He was 20-3 last year, I believe. Could be wrong. I believe baseball's only 20-game winner a season ago. So, I mean, this offense is so talented, and even if he doesn't pitch great, I think that they're going to be able to back him up. This to me is on the money line at least. I would even consider the run line, though I do agree with your argument that it's you're putting a lot on it. But yeah, I think this is a Dodgers victory all the way. Yeah.
And Ben, I think you would agree. Dodgers
I would. I'm curious, y'all. So I like it more on the road because you get the extra bat. Do y'all ever lay the 1.5 in a spot like this because the juice is so high at 250? I mean, I guess if you're putting it in a parlay, you're not as concerned about laying the 250 because it's one of multiple games.
So for me personally,
I'm just curious.
Yeah, no. For me personally, like I was talking to Chris about this earlier. I like for the Padres are at home tonight, and usually I don't like to take the home team on the run line.
Yeah, I agree with that
because they don't get the extra.
That's fair.
No, I agree with that.
But with the Padres, as I told Chris, the Padres have won. They're 19-10, and they've won 8 of those 19 games by 2 or more runs. So with a game like that, where I'm getting value on the run line at plus 155, which is what I got, I think it's now down to like plus 130.
Yeah.
But in that type of situation, that's where I will take a run line with a team at home. But I'll try to avoid it if I think that if I'm paying a minus 110 or up to 125 money line. Like I'm obviously not going to take the run line.
That makes sense. I just don't like it when you got like games like the Dodgers minus 250. That's kind of more what I was.
Absolutely, I understand. Okay, let's see what's up next. My phone turned off, so I got
a few picks today too.
Oh, so if you have some that I don't have, chime in. I don't have anything Brewers Reds. Do you have anything Brewers Reds?
No, I don't have a Brewers Reds pick.
Chris, do you have any insight on Brewers Reds? I mean, the Reds obviously have been pretty lackluster to say the least.
I'm lucky that the Tigers can only claim to be the second worst team in baseball so far this season because the Reds, despite winning a series, they did just beat the Pirates 2 out of 3. Luis Castillo's making his first start of the year, so I'm going Brewers run line because I think he's going to be on a short leash. And while I like Luis Castillo quite a bit, he's got one of the best changeups in baseball. The Reds are 16-29 in games where he's pitched over the last 2 seasons. And as good as and those teams were substantially better than the team the Reds are throwing out right now. So I got run line for Brewers in this game.
All right, Brewers run line. And look, that's plus 100. So if you agree with Chris, which his logic is usually pretty spot on, I mean, that's
You're getting a good price.
It's getting a good price at plus 100.
Yeah.
Up next, this is another game that I personally don't have. A's, Tigers. And I'm sure that Mr. Castellani has something, which he says he doesn't bet on the Tigers. So I feel like, this is the bias, unbiased information that we need in order to make this bet.
If you're going to make a bet on this game, take the under. Both of these teams, both the A's and the Tigers, this is an insane statistic, are 2-12 in their last 14 games. So that's a combined record of 4-24 over their last 20
That's a tough thing to do. A tough feat.
And yet we seem to do it every year at some point, multiple times. But the Tigers have not scored more than 3 runs in a week. The A's have not The A's have not been much better offensively. Pineda's actually been pretty solid for the Tigers. He had a few problems with the long ball in a start against Minnesota. So if you're gonna make a bet, take the under in this game. But I have to just throw out the caveat: take it with a grain of salt because there's too much emotion for me attached to every Tigers game where I can't give you an honest objective take.
My question to Chris: a lot of hype on the Tigers this year. I mean, I like their over going into the year. A lot of young talent. Obviously, this has been not the start you were looking for. Do you think it's just a young team with growing pains, or there's some real problems right now?
No, there's real problems. They don't. Their offense stinks. I do think ultimately, much like last year, Water finds its level. I do think this is probably a 75 to 80 win team, but they're 6 years into a rebuild, and like I said, they haven't scored more than 3 runs in a week, and they've done it with weirdly one of the 5 best bullpens in baseball. Erod was brilliant on Saturday. Screwballs looked really good this season. This is a team that I think you can make money off of this season just betting the under because the offense is just that anemic. They don't have, I believe, in terms of guys with qualified at-bats, a single hitter in their lineup with an OPS over 750. So, I mean, I think that you can be easy money just betting on unders for this team.
The under is and look, the under 7 at the Barstool Sportsbook minus 103. So, I mean, as we've talked about, 6.5, 7, those are some low unders. But for the A's and the Tigers, who have absolutely no run support and the bats are just cold as hell, 7 seems like a very doable number. Okay, up next we have Guardians, White Sox. The White Sox are in my parlay. They're minus 190 on the money line. All I need for them to do is win. You have Kupchak, you have Plesac. Was I reading correctly?
You got Plesac. Did you say Kupchak?
Did I say Cup?
Kopesh. Kopesh, how you say it?
Kopech.
Kopesh.
See, I like Kupchak.
Honestly, though, let's stick with it. I really like Kupchak, and let's do it.
You like Kupchak? This is whenever you hit somebody in the balls. So
exactly.
Right. So all I need for them to do is the White Sox to win. And the White Sox, since we talked last, Chris, I said, what do the White Sox need to do to turn it on? all of a sudden, seems like the White Sox are kind of turning it on. This is just because I said, do you think it was me? You think it was me like poking the White Sox a little bit? Or do you think, what do you think it was that made this team all of a sudden wake up? Because they're in my parlay and I need them to win.
Pitching. And this is, if there's one suggestion I would make for this game, because I actually like Zach Plesac, and I think his numbers, let me check here. Look at my notes. White Sox team, 32 for 118 against Plesac. That's a 710 OPS, so that's pretty good. I do like him as a pitcher. But when you look at the White Sox, who are on a 6-game winning streak right now, they've averaged just above 3 runs a game. So it's not like they're setting the world on fire. So I think, I do like the White Sox in this division still. This is a game where I'd consider taking the under because Kopech's had lethal stuff ever since he was in the minor leagues.
Kupchak, remember, we're changing it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Kupchak's had lethal stuff. Going back to the minor leagues. I know he had Tommy John at one point, but he's still pumping fastballs in the upper 90s. So I would take the under here because I don't know. I'm just not comfortable necessarily taking the run or the money line. But I think the last I checked when I was looking things up this morning, I thought it was 7.5 with the.
It is
7.5.
Yeah, I'd be, again, we've talked about it before, like that can break in like 3 innings, but
especially with these two lineups, we know that the White Sox were like a mash heavy team last year. We know the Guardians can mash whenever they want to, but they have to want to in order to do so. So it's like, what are we getting here today?
That's what scares me about the White Sox is one of these days they're going to have a 10-run game. And they're going to just go nuts offensively. Like, I feel like there's a sleeping giant there. But with Plesac on the mound and with, given the data, I don't think it'll be today.
Well, I'm kind of going against a little your logic. I'm laying the run and a half of the White Sox at +112.
That's fair. No, I get you.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to score. I still believe in their lineup. I know they hadn't scored a ton lately. Kopech has been pitching well. At 190, I'm going to gamble here, risk the run and a half. It's +112 instead of -190. That's just too big of a difference. So I'm gonna try that. That's my play for that game.
All right, so I have the White Sox just to win in my parlay. Mintzy likes the run line, and we have Chris who is looking at the under 7.5. Up next we have Rays, Angels, and this is one of my straight picks. I have the Angels, and I got them at -118 this morning. They're now at -130, and I'm really backing Noah Syndergaard here. In 24 innings, he's only given up 7 runs. I do a lot of stuff with my hands. He's only given up 7 runs. And this Angels team has been heating up, as we've talked about. And I know that there's not a ton of household names within that lineup, but they are good. They're mashing, and I like them to win today. And I also like Noah Syndergaard to hold it down on the mound. So I like the Angels -118. What is your thoughts on this game today? Because I know you love a good pitcher's duel, so I want to know what you think about Spriggs.
Yes.
Spriggs.
I know so little about him because that's the problem with betting on the Rays is that they just find these guys from the scrap heap and then they throw 100 and you're just like, where did they come from? Like every year they trade half their team and then they end up with a bullpen of guys that are throwing like 103. Yesterday was the first time, seriously, in about 5 or 6 years where I looked at the Los Angeles Angels and went, they might actually be a team that's going to make a deep run this year. Or playing meaningful baseball late into the season. So I have Angels money line. I'm not super confident with it, but the big reason I am, I'm leaning that way. Syndergaard looks really good, and Syndergaard's always had stuff. He's always had a great arm. Injury problems have always gotten in the way. But even if he doesn't pitch great, that lineup is finally healthy and finally good. I mean, you could argue the top 2 players in the entire sport are on that roster with Trout and Ohtani. So I think they're going to be able to score runs. And the one issue they've had is pitching. Right now, when we're so early in the season, it kind of seems like they found it with their pitching. And they've done it with some guys, I was kind of not crazy about, like Syndergaard coming off an injury, like Michael Lorenzen. But it seems like they got things rolling a little bit here. They're not as good, but they're similar to the Mets where it's like, I'm going to kind of keep betting on them because it just seems like there's good mojo going right now.
I have over 3.5 runs for the Angels. I think they're going to score against Springs. Their lineup's been getting going a little bit lately. And I kind of agree with what you're saying, Chris, especially, obviously the A's are tanking and rebuilding mode. It feels like the division, the Angels have a shot at it this year. And my bet is over 3.5 Angels runs in this game. I think they're going to score.
Well, they don't have a shot when the Astros are in their division.
We shall see. We need to get over that.
They just went 7-0 on a 7-game homestand, which you're welcome. 4 of them were against my Tigers, so they're gonna be all right. But yeah,
gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Up next, a game that I've kind of talked about and alluded to: Padres, Cubs. I like the Padres run line because, as I've said, they are 19 for 10 this season. And 9 of those games, of those 18 games, they have won by 2 or more runs. Obviously, as I said, I don't like usually taking the home team on the run line, but with this particular team, I was getting so much value at plus 155. As I said, now down to plus 130. So if you are still interested in it, you can still get it at a good price. But yeah,
Hey, Brennan. Hey, guys.
Hi, Brandon.
You're still getting a good price there. What are your thoughts on the run line here, Chris? Do you agree with my the way my brain's working here, and with even though it's kind of risky with us possibly not getting that last at bat if we're just up, a run?
Well, first off, with this being a Cubs game, I want to congratulate Carl, Jake Arrieta, rebooting the starting 9. That is totally awesome.
Carl's the man too. I have so much respect.
They're going to do such a great job, and I'm really happy for them. Carl's been nothing but kind to me. And I say that leading into my next point, which is the Cubs stink. The Cubs have not scored more than 3 runs in 9 games. That's dating back to April 27th. The Padres lineup has an 890 OPS against Kyle Hendricks, who they're going up against tonight. I know Mackenzie Gore, very inexperienced, but his ERA currently is under 2. The Padres are another team that I think, because of the way last year ended for them, a lot of people have undervalued, and Tatis getting into the breaking his wrist in the motorcycle accident. But that's a very talented team, and Manny Machado is playing the best baseball of his career right now. I'm taking the run line there because I think that they're going to be able to shut down what is right now, a very below average Cubs offense. So I have the Padres on the run line.
What are your thoughts on Kyle Hendricks at this point of his career, Chris?
Well, the problem with him is that, when you're a pitch for contact guy, you're going to have ebbs and flows with your ERA, where some years you're going to get lucky. He's a guy who's won an ERA title. His stuff is not any worse than it was 3-4 years ago. But I do think that when you are a guy who doesn't miss a whole lot of bats, the deeper things go, the more the book is out on you. And I think guys have started to figure him out. He's still going to eat up innings. He's still going to be a 170 inning plus a year pitcher. But the idea of him being that number 1, the way he was, early in his career, I don't think that's going to be the case. And he's facing a lineup that makes hard contact pretty much, top to bottom. So, yeah.
Do you have any plays on that game, Ben?
I do not. I'm staying off that game, but I would go Padres or pass for sure.
I also have the Padres in money line, just the money line in my. That's how I love the Padres today, so that could blow up in my face. And I usually don't like to put all my eggs in one basket. However, the Padres money line is in with the Makin Money Mondays parlay. Again, I'm trying to find you guys teams that have the possibility of winning if the parlay loses, so that we make some money back. That's the whole goal of this show, is to make some money. Up next, I don't have a play on this game. Marlins, D-backs. Do you have a play?
I do. I got the Marlins here. D-backs are atrocious. I feel like the Marlins were real hot for a minute, but I still think they're undervalued. I mean, I still think they're pretty good. They got a lot of young talent. They're kind of standard Marlins team, and then it's a lot of guys people don't really know. But they've been pretty good so far this year. They were real hot a couple weeks ago. And I just think the Diamondbacks were just an American tragedy this year. So getting minus 118 price against them, even on the road, I got to take it. So I'm taking Marlins.
Yeah. Right now, I'm staying away from this one because I agree with you on the Diamondbacks. We've talked about it on the show. Like, they don't score runs. And despite being last in the division, they're 15-14. Like, their pitching has held up. So there's not enough data here. Neither one of these pitchers has really faced the opposing lineup. So, yeah, I'm staying away from it.
All right. Before I tell you my pick on this next game, which is Phillies-Mariners, I just want to hear your opinion because these two teams haven't seen each other for, 5 years?
Yeah, probably around there now.
So before I go ahead and throw my pick out, Chris, I want to hear your opinion, your unbiased opinion on this game.
These are two teams that are reaching a point already, and it's early in the season where it's like, you got to show us who you are. And that's why this game is another one that I'm staying away from because I look at the Phillies lineup, and I think this team should be a team. I think the Mets right now are probably the best team in the division, but should be fighting for a wild card spot, and they're under 500. Last year, you had a Mariners team that out of nowhere won 90-plus games. They signed Robbie Ray. They get Jesse Winker. They get Eugenio Suarez. I can't bet on this game because I don't know how good either one of these teams are yet. And there's literally like no data regarding the pitching matchups. But it's two teams that are kind of at a crossroads already in the season where it's like, you got to show us something.
Right, I would agree with that. And that's,
Phillies were hyped, and they've definitely been a big disappointment so far.
It's a good lineup.
Well,
They got good hitters. It's just, it just doesn't seem like they gel.
which is why I am on the Phillies today. They've won their last 6 out of 7 with Suarez on the mound, and I'm hoping that this is kind of a get right spot, and for the Phillies just to have like a day where they remember who they are, remember their ability. I mean, as y'all said, the lineup can, when they are gelling, put together a hell of a show. But the issue is, are they gelling? And I think this might be the game. Hopefully, where how I poked the White Sox last week, I'm going to poke the Phillies this week. Hopefully the Phillies can wake up a little bit. I need some run support for Suarez, and I think that they're able to get it done here. I got them at a pretty good price. I think it was plus 102 this morning on the money line. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, it's plus 102 right now.
So it hasn't moved. I don't think anyone knows what to do with this game, but I'm sticking my neck out for the Phillies. Hopefully they can do something for me here. Ben, do you have a play on this?
I don't have a play, but I have a question. So in baseball and other sports, I look at travel as a factor. In baseball, I know the Phillies were at home yesterday. Granted, it was a day game against the Mets, I believe. Going all the way out to Seattle, does that affect how y'all look at games on travel at all, or is that not a thing in baseball?
For me, I can't, because with young teams, I'd consider it. But when we're talking about a team like the Phillies, this game in Seattle, or is it in?
Yeah, it's in Seattle.
Yeah, when I look at a team like the Phillies that has so many veterans like Castellanos and Harper and Nola, it's like if they were in their first or second years of their careers, I'd be like, okay, maybe that does have some impact. But they've done these cross country trips before. I don't really factor it into.
And also, they played yesterday afternoon, and it's a late game on the West Coast.
True.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just curious how people evaluate that in baseball.
For sure.
Because it is a thing. People look at it in basketball, football.
I feel like the only time I really think about it is when there's travel to Miami. I feel like Miami's the only trip that takes it out of literally everyone in every sport. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if football, baseball.
Dolphins do have a weird Dolphins have a weird home field. They have for a long time.
It does. Even if you're in a dome, I don't care. If you walk outside the Miami heat and the humidity just sucks it all out of you, and you're like,
and let's be honest, athletes like to party when they're in Miami, and they party when they're in Miami. So that
exactly. Okay, up next, and the last one on the ballot for today is Rockies Giants. The Giants are really big favorites here, and I'm almost tempted to take Gomer and the Rockies on the money line. I don't know why. I mean, I guess maybe I don't want to say I haven't trusted Rondon, because he's thrown well this season, but I don't know if I'm just not trusting this number. I just think
crazy number. The Colorado started out pretty good this year too,
and they're able to, whenever they want to, they're able to put runs up. My thing is just I don't know if I would advise anyone to take the Giants on the run line here. I mean, are the Giants? I might be completely wrong here, because I haven't followed the Giants a ton this year, which kind of makes me sad, because I enjoyed following them a lot last year.
Late games tough.
They are tough.
Late games are tough,
especially with kids. That's one that people forget. And if you didn't wish me Happy Mother's Day, do it now.
Yeah, it goes.
But have the Giants been mashing? What have the scores been like? Have they been winning by a good a 2-run differential to where we should be advising people to take the run line?
It's not some crazy good offense, but it has. Me going with the Giants on the run line here has less to do with the Giants as a whole and more with Carlos Rodon. I was looking back at his baseball reference page. Carlos Rodon in the last 2 April and May's has been the best pitcher in baseball. He's gotten off to crazy hot starts. I think he leads the National League right now, I think in FIP, hits per 9, and he hasn't given up a home run all year, and he's facing a team in San Francisco that's a pitcher's ballpark that thrives on the home run ball. I mean, if you want to play in Colorado, you got to hit home runs. So it's something I understand, the trepidation there, because I think the Rockies, like you said, Mintzy, are they have a good lineup and they have guys who can rake, but I think Rodon is really feeling himself right now, and I think it was like that in the first half of last year with the White Sox. I do think, and White Sox Dave's talked about this quite a bit, where I think he kind of feels like he has something to prove. I think he wanted to come back to Chicago, and he goes back to a place in San Francisco that last year revived 3 or 4 guys' careers. And I think they're kind of doing something similar with Rodon. So it's obvious. Well, it's literally a gamble, obviously, but I believe in Rodon here. I think he's looking great so far. His stuff looks as electric as it did in the first part of last season.
So would you recommend people betting the more feasible run line, which is minus 113, or the under 6.5 here? I mean, you said it's a pitcher's ballpark. Rondon's, you said, has something to prove, but do you think the Giants get to Gomer?
I do, because it's a small sample size, but they've hit over 300 against Gomer in his career. So I would take run line for the Giants. Yeah.
All right, that's pretty much the whole slate. Oh, what you got?
I just want to get to the other sports a little bit.
Oh no, okay. Yeah, Ben wants to talk a little bit about NBA tonight because I don't have a play. So Ben.
Yeah, just well, first thing, as a lifelong New York Rangers fan and New Yorker, I'm bandwagon. I had to find a hockey team to pull for, and I went to a game at MSG and had a good time. So they're down 2-1. They're playing the Penguins tonight. They're kind of in a must-win spot. They yanked Igor, their star goalie, at the end of the first period. We allowed 4 goals the other night. They got to win tonight. I'm taking them -114 even on the road against Pittsburgh. This series, they're in big trouble if they get down 3-1. So I think they're going to fight back and get a win. NBA playoffs, after starting as atrocious as any man possibly could in them, have actually been a little hot lately, and I'm winning Pick Central so far this month. So there's a couple games tonight. Bucks are a 1-point favorite over Boston. Milwaukee's up 2-1. This is a spot Boston really, really needs it, but I can't go against Milwaukee at home. I really can't. I think you're only laying 1. Milwaukee's tough at home. They got Giannis. I'm going to go Milwaukee. The other game smells really fishy. Memphis is catching 10.5 at Golden State. Looks like John Morant's not going to play.
Really? Wow.
Do you see the Jordan Poole, the knee stuff?
Yeah, man. I mean, I Jordan Poole's a Michigan man. You know.
Yeah. No. Okay. Well, look, I'm not totally sure. The Memphis coach said last night it looked like he wasn't going to play. The line in Game 3 was 7. It's 10.5 right now in Game 4. So that makes me feel like he's not playing, but I don't have a total update. But I'm going with a weird hot take here, and that I think everybody's going to jump on Golden State. Memphis was like 20-4 without Morant this year. They actually still did pretty well when he didn't play. So I'm actually looking at Memphis getting 10.5 tonight on a little bit of a contrarian play. I think the whole world is going to be pounding Golden State tonight with Morant possibly out in that injury, and the fact Golden State won that last game by 30. So I'm actually going to take the double-digit dog here in a playoff game. I just think when you look at the sample size of Memphis playing without Morant, as much of a superstar as he is, they've done pretty well in that spot this year. And give me over 10 in a playoff game, I'm going to take it. So we shall see.
All right, that is your little outside of baseball update for the day. But, Chris, I wanted to ask before we go, is there anything else you wanted to highlight? Is there anything you wanted to tell us? Share some news.
Yes. Look, obviously, for people who follow my content, I do Tigers videos after every game, which over the last 5 years, as much as I enjoy it, has had a tendency to be a bit of a chore. And obviously, this season has not started the way that people have wanted, the fans have wanted it to. But I put a video on my Twitter page probably about an hour and a half ago, where after every game from now on, so we got 135 games left, I'm going to shout out, give a link to a charity of people's choice. So we need 135 charities for the rest of the season. This could go beyond 2022, but the way things have started, I think that given the platform that I've been fortunate enough to have, hopefully we can do some good things and spread a little bit of positivity when Detroit sports have been not so positive over the last several years. So if you go to my page, it's my pinned tweet on my profile. Leave a link. It doesn't matter if it's local, if it's out west, down south. I'll try to get to as many as I can throughout the rest of the season. I'd really, really appreciate that.
That's awesome. I'll go ahead and tell you, you're going to hear one that Megan and I are applauding Hogs for the Cause in New Orleans.
Perfect.
We raised almost $50K this year for families fighting child cancer, and they build like Ronald McDonald style houses that house the families when their kids are being treated. I know, Megan, we had a great experience with that in New Orleans. And heck, Chris, man, I have to get you on the team next year.
For
Team
sure, man.
Portnoy, but that's one you're going to be getting that link from us. I can assure you.
That'd be great, man. The more we can get, the better. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chris, for everything. And also, I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing. The fact that you're using your platform, you're already amazing, like just kind, positive platform.
You're gonna make me cry. Stop.
Spread more positivity. It really is. It's important. Like the fact that, don't cry. The fact that you're doing this, though, it is important. You're such a positive light, and know that all of us really appreciate you, and I especially appreciate you every Monday coming on my show and helping me out. Give some winners for baseball. Yeah. I'll see you next Monday, and I'll go ahead and share that link, and I'll hit you with some charities that we can hopefully help some more people out and bring some more positivity.
And I'll see you in the office next week.
For sure, man. We got a dozen
tournament.
Yeah,
Chris is a monster in the dozen. The Honkers, we're the defending champs, but man, it's been like the North Carolina. I'm saying we're going to make a Carolina tournament like run coming in as an 8 seed, being undervalued. We've had a little bit of a midseason struggle, but really looking forward to the dozen tournament with Jeff D'Lo in the office next week. It's always great to see Chris in New York. And yeah, man, let's get back out to the Classic, Megan. Let's go shake some more hands. We're hitting the Lazy River this afternoon.
He is,
and,
not me.
Yeah, she's got to go home to the family. We got the Lazy River, a pool cabana this afternoon, and they're treating us to Ember Steakhouse tonight. LeBear's Lake Charles. Love you.
Yes.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Chris, and thank y'all, everybody. We'll see you Wednesday. Kelly will be back Wednesday, and we'll see Che on Wednesday as well. Thank y'all, and thank you, Chris, as well. We'll see y'all Wednesday.